There. What a cool office. Honestly, yesterday I was in Santa Barbara, KW. Last week I was in San Clemente, KW. The week before that I was in San Diego. And you guys, I mean, location, this is so cool. I hope you all appreciate and recognize how cool this is. This is an awesome office. Santa Barbara was like the what I call the living room was like three times the size of this with office around it. It's just wood paneling. It just feels so Santa Barbara. It was really cool. If you get a chance to go out to that office, it's awesome. I got to meet Jen Stein. I know you know Jen. A lot of you probably it's awesome and help. I got positives and negatives. That was a little weird. That was a little weird. Um, Okay, I'm gonna try and make this a little bit fun. I'm gonna try. You can tell that I'm not too serious. A lot of my imagery is, I don't know, it's kind of cattywampus. It's weird, but I promise you, it's not. We're not that drunk all the time, just on Friday evenings. Yeah, I try to have a little bit of fun. I try to share information with you. I promise you that when you understand what we do, when you get it, when you understand why there are 13,000 realtors that use our systems, when you understand why we've been doing this for 30 years and that there is nothing in the industry that's like this, when you get it, when that light bulb goes off, and I promise you, I'll start to see them around the room kind of going off and getting it, your business should increase by at least 5% in the next year. And it should double every year based on this tool. And I'm not going to tell you to change your business structure. If you're focused on luxury real estate, continue to focus on luxury real estate. I'm actually going to show you a testimonial from a luxury real estate agent in Orange County that has done exactly that. She's doubled her business last year. She did 12 more transactions because of us. So I promise you, you're going to do more business. And I promise you, we're going to make this a little bit enjoyable. So I'll give you a couple of quick tips. Anybody in here do public speaking? Anybody in here talk to more than 3 or 4 people? Maybe a couple quick tips. First of all, this one is, yeah, besides Joey, this one's really cool. Write this down if you haven't. Anybody familiar with NeuroGum? It's mainly like vitamins, but it's going to help me talk a little bit faster, think a little bit quicker. It's actually really cool. Pre-listing appointments, pre-workout. It's all vitamins. It's actually really cool. It's called NeuroGum, like neurological, neuro, N-E-R-O gum. Just something that my assistant found a while ago. Actually really helps. I really like it. The other one is cough drops. You can get it online. I think that we got it online. The other one's cough drops, helps me from dry mouth. So if you're talking to me and you're like, why does he smell like a cold? Like, I don't have a cold. I just like to have a cough drop in my mouth. I think it's helpful for talking and dry mouth and stuff like that. Anyways, I'm gonna get on to the point. So I got a question for you. I got a question that I'm gonna ask you lots of questions, and I'm hoping for interaction. Don't be afraid to raise your hand and interrupt me at any time, because we're gonna get into it. We're gonna understand and grow and learn and do more business. So my first question is, realtors, convenience or price? Think about it for a second. Like, I want an actual answer to this question. You personally, not your clients, not anybody else. You personally, in your life in 2024, which is more important to you? Yeah, that's good. Now you can kind of see. I need to stand here. Sorry, Zoom folks. I'm gonna try and stand. It's never gonna happen, but. So I got anybody dare get a little unshy and just answer the question. I just want a 1-word answer.
What was the question again?
The question is convenience or price. The microphone here? Where's the microphone? Convenience or price? Anybody?
Or price? What?
Price. P-R-I-S-E. Price.
Oh, price. Oh.
Well, just in general in life right now. Here's the thing. Your parents and my parents, they would never, ever answer this question any other way besides price, right? It's important. The reason why I start out every meeting like this, I was actually talking to a OP in Las Vegas that owns like 9 offices or something like that. And we were going over our presentation, excuse me, we got halfway through, and she said to me, every single one of my realtors asked this question at every listing presentation prior to asking any other questions. I mean, yeah, you sit down, you schmooze, you get to know them, you start to get into business. And this is a very important question that no one has ever asked before, like this generation, before this time in our world. We live in a time where I guarantee you, most of you have spent $6 to have a $7 cheeseburger delivered to your house. Is that convenience or price?
Convenience.
Yes, convenience. How do we turn that down? Convenient, no, you're good, I'm sorry. Convenience is something that we have never experienced in the way that we have instant gratification. I'm a Gen X, and it was always talked to us about like, you guys, your generation's all about instant gratification. Come on, like I feel like it's gotten even over the years, I feel like it's grown from generation to generation, the importance of instant gratification, the importance of convenience over pricing, I think is something that we definitely need to start recognizing as realtors, as service people, as people that deal with consumers every single day. Let's see if we can make these slides work. Okay. Anybody under the age of 30, tell me what I'm looking at? Like, what is this? A chalkboard,
Chalk, yeah.
right? Yeah, that's super cool that you know what that is, because it doesn't exist in any schoolhouses anymore, and doesn't exist. It totally dates me, right? This can go right alongside my Rolodex. What is this? But I like this kind of imagery. So before I get into this, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about me, now that I've kind of got you thinking a little bit about price and convenience. A little bit about me. I've been in the business almost 30 years. I am a Southern California realtor. I live in Orange County. I know that's like the other side of the world to you folks. I know we know a lot more about you than you do about us, is what I've learned.
Can't hear you anymore. We lost sound. Yes, Jen. I don't know what happened.
Unmute. There.
Unmute. So you have to ask you. It says ask to unmute. So can you?
Now can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Ah, okay.
Yes,
For
Ryan.
some reason I was muted. Okay, sorry, where was I? 30-year realtor, closed over 3,000 properties in my career. You do the numbers, you recognize it's a fair amount of real estate. About 95, I'm gonna throw out a lot of percentages today. About 95% of those sales are off market. Almost 100% of those sales are really difficult situations. My superpower is negotiations and problem solving. That is my superpower. Everything else I leave up to other people in my organization, because I think it's I learned it a couple of years ago that it's the best thing I can do is recognize my weaknesses and focus on my strengths and bring great people in who can help me where I'm weak, right? So that's me. That's kind of my direction. I started out in the business 28 years ago. I started at Prudential California Realty in the city of Brea. Have people ever heard of Prudential Real Estate? Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Prudential's not around anymore because it was bought out by Berkshire Hathaway, and Warren Buffett deciding that he was going to own Prudential. But
Hey, David, could you mute yourself, David, and also Tati, could you mute yourself?
Okay, they're definitely making this fun for me. You all will have grace for me if I lose my place and forget where I am and have a seizure up here. Yeah, so I started out at Prudential almost 30 years ago. And I was a young buck back then. I was very frustrated by the fact that if I found John and Sally the perfect white picket fence, and I spent my whole career trying to find them the perfect white picket fence that they could walk up and go, yeah, it's not white enough. No, thank you. That drove me crazy, right? And I did, and I give you guys all the credit in the world that work with buyers and sellers, because I know exactly how it is. I know exactly what you deal with. But I just, especially as a young 20-something, I just did not have the patience for it. So I learned about investments, and I found out that if 1 + 1 = 2, they would buy. And I was really excited about that. And so I built my career on that. I got 2, 4, 15, 20 investors that I worked with all the time. I'd find them deals and opportunities. My business started to grow, and we got to the point where you didn't have enough business for our investors, for our clients. So what would I do? I would go into what's today, Wednesday? My week has been like that. I would go into the Wednesday meeting in the office, and I would listen to someone like Christine say, I've got a deal in Larchmont, and if anybody's interested, and I'd go, and I'd beeline straight to her, and I'd say, I've got investors. How can I help you? What can I do for you? And she would say, well, I just got the listing. I'm about to put it on the MLS. And so I really think, and I was like, well, I got a dozen investors. And she would say, well, I really think that I should put it on the MLS, and I should give my clients the best option. You know, there's tons and tons of buyers on the MLS. And I think let's see what it does on the MLS. And I would say, okay, I get it. That's fine. Let me present you with an offer. Let me look at it. If it doesn't work out, please consider one of my investors. And I would kind of walk away with my head down and go, how do I solve this problem? I can't compete with the MLS. Who can, right? Well, today, with over 100,000 investors nationally, and the vast majority of them in LA County, I can tell you that not only can I compete with the MLS, but I can offer you something that better than the MLS can offer you in a lot of ways. Now, I'll say this little disclosure on the side, there are a lot of sellers who it is in their best interest to put it on the MLS, go that route, do the best you can for them. If that's what they want, then that's what you should do 100% of the time. I'm never telling you not to do what's in the best interest of the seller, but we all know when we put a property on the MLS that's an investment property, we know what's going to come out of the woodworks. I got a lot of nods. So I'll tell you, if you don't know, especially in today's day and age, by the way, go on Facebook and go and search for a group like California Investors, or how to flip a house in California, or how to wholesale a house in California. You will find thousands of them. And I guarantee you, from my experience, everything I say is from my experience. From my experience, I guarantee you that very few of them are honest and upfront people who care about what the seller's best interests are, right?
A lot of them have not even closed the deal.
Right. A lot of them don't even understand what it's all about. A lot of them don't even have the money to buy real estate. If you don't know what a wholesaler is, I'd be more than happy to explain a little bit more about that to you. By the way, wholesalers are not allowed in our network for a lot of reasons. The same as straw buyers. If you've been in the business for a minute, you know what a straw buyer is. Straw buyer is basically a buyer that has no money, that's just interested in locking up your contract and selling it off to somebody else, and doesn't really care about the process or the due diligence that's required. So I digress. Understanding all of this, I started to move more and more into networking with more investors and finding out what investors needed, finding out what homeowners and realtors needed. And I built a network of over 100,000 investors. All of our investors are fully vetted. They're all fully accountable to the sale and the process. I stand here in front of you like no other investor, with the ability to say to you that I am an advocate for realtors. I am an advocate for sellers. It matters more to me what your clients' needs are than my investors. I know that sounds kind of weird, because my business is, see if it'll even let me go back. No, it won't.
That's on you.
Hopefully it'll let me go forward. My business is the investment network, but we run a network of hundreds of thousands of investors, and every single one of our investors knows and understands that we are an advocate for realtors. So that kind of gives you a little baseline of me and the business. Let me see if I can move forward. I couldn't move backward, but you know why? I think because it was on Zoom.
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay, so I want to talk to you a little bit about home selling options in today's market. See if I can move this out of our way a bit. Hopefully on Zoom land, you all can see that. That's a little bit better. So let's talk about this a little bit. First of all, after 28 years, I got to say 28 years ago, the way that we did real estate, a little bit different, right? So we would go in and we would present our listing presentation, give all the information that we had about the property, the address, the value, the comps, the neighborhood, schools, the details, and hopefully they would say, yes, we would sign it for 6%. We put a sign on the lawn, we put a lockbox on it. We do broker previews, we do open houses, we do everything that a realtor does. This is what we call traditional service. And how you probably never even heard it referred to as anything specific, because it's the way realtors do business, right? It's just the way we do things as realtors. There's a couple of problems with this. If this is all you're offering, first of all, it's the way we've been doing business for over 50 years. right? Side in the lawn, bring in buyers, do open houses. And there are a lot of homeowners in today's world that are not comfortable with this because this doesn't, because it's 50 years old, and 50 years ago, convenience wasn't as important or nearly as important or didn't matter as much as price. That has always been the main focus of that. So there's a few different things that we can offer now. For example, the ability to stage a home is something that we weren't offering 50 years ago. We like to call it staged and reimagined. You can steal that if you want, because I love that idea that we're reimagining the space. And by staging a property, I think any of you have done it, know that you can generally get a little bit more interest in the property. You can take better pictures. You can hopefully get a better price. How many of you have a great home stager? Raise your hand if you have a great home stager. Every single one of you that does not raise your hand needs to be talking to the people who are raising their hands, because you should never be doing real estate without a great home stager. It's going to make a huge difference in your business. And I'll explain a little bit more about the difference that it's going to make. Here's another one for you. Raise your hand if you know what a concierge service is. Okay, about half the room. Here's the thing. If you don't have a great concierge service, someone else does, and they're going to take advantage of that situation. So I'll explain to you a little bit about what a concierge service is. Let's say you walk into the house, it's 1945, beautiful Victorian in LA, and it's absolutely gorgeous. They've renovated the house. It's fantastic, except there's one problem. The kitchen is original 1948, and I don't mean good original 1948. I mean bad original 1948. And what do? You run the comps and you go, this is let's just say it's $1 million house, right? It's probably a lot more than that, but let's say it's $1 million house. And you realize that if the kitchen looked like the rest of the house, we could probably get a lot more for this house. But because the kitchen needs renovations, we're probably going to get a lot less. Or let's say it's a 60-year-old roof. Gosh, if it's a 60-year-old roof, you got a problem. What are you going to do? You're going to say to your client, hey, if you can replace the roof, I can do a lot better for you. I promise you. And your client says, well, I don't have the money to do that. What am I going to come up with $40,000 for a brand new roof? I can't really do that. So here's an option. What I can do a couple of things. One, I can bring my contractor in. They can take a look at it and they can price it out and hopefully help you out. But if you don't have the money, this is an option. This is an option for you. The concierge service will charge you through escrow. They will take it out of the proceeds from the sale of your home. So it costs $40,000 for a new roof. They're going to charge you $40,000, but it's not going to come out of your pocket because you may not have the money right now. This is a great option. This is what I call like a real estate superhero option, because you're walking in, you're solving a huge problem that they know that they have. And you are the superhero that can solve that problem for them. So if you do not have, if you do not have a great concierge service, you definitely need one. Here's another option. I bet you can guess what this one's going to be. Cash offer. Here's the thing. Doesn't work for every seller. Doesn't work for every situation. I do not suggest that you ever pressure sellers into any of these directions if it's not in their best interest. It's really important to me that I clarify that detail for you. And I'll explain a little bit more why. You all know what a cash offer is. You all know kind of the direction. You all know that it's probably going to sell for a bit less or a lot less. And it's going to be dependent on what the seller's needs are. You never want to walk into a house that you've comped for $1 million and go, hey, I've got a great offer for you. Or I know we could sell this house for $775. They're going to go, there's the door, get out, because you just told me my house is worth $1 million. Why would I sell it for $775 all day long? I absolutely get that. So let me break it down for you a little bit. I'm going to give you some statistics here from NAR since 2019. So traditional service, as I said, this is selling your home for fair market value, staging and reimagining. That, according to NAR, can yield your client between 2 and 5% more money. So you walk into the house and it's nice, like the furniture is nice, but if you can stage it, you may be able to help your client get a lot more money. If you can have them pay for the staging or you advance for the staging or whatever. You know, something really interesting, if any of you have ever worked in San Francisco, pretty much comes with the listing. They expect listing agents to stage properties almost 100% of the time. So staging has grown in a lot of major metropolitan areas as just something that's done to make it better. And it kind of makes sense. Did you have a question or you just stretching?
You said it sells for 2 to 5% more than if it wasn't staged. Is that take off the back the cost of staging?
Does that take off the cost of
In
staging?
other words, the cost of staging property.
It doesn't account for the cost at all. It does, it
So
does,
that number's similar to 5%.
absolutely. Absolutely, because staging is just such a huge variable. Are you gonna stage the living room? You're gonna stage the whole house? What are you gonna do with it? What does it need? You bring in a great stager, and by great stager, I don't necessarily mean someone who's gonna charge you or them $10,000. I mean, someone who can look at the situation and go, look, this furniture is great. Let's just switch out this desk and let's do this in the master. You got a twin bed in the master? No, that's not gonna work. It's someone who can help you make it better and make it grow in value based on the perception of how it looks, make it look better. It should increase the price by 2 to 5%. Concierge service between 4 and 15% based on what's done to it, based on what's needed. It's a huge variable. I get that. But this is what NAR is saying is going to add value to your clients' homes to help them sell it for more depending on the situation. Now you ready? Cash offer? Between, you can't see it, between 2.5 and I can't see it either. I think it's 20%. Between 3 and 20% less, depending on the condition. How do I take it off? Oh, yay, okay. Between 3 and 20% less, depending on the condition. Interesting. Right? Let's see where the next part of the slide takes us to. So on the bottom here, traditional real estate service since 2019, pre-pandemic, is down by 6.3%, meaning that homeowners are going with one of these other options. And by the way, there are multiple other options depending on services that you want to bring in to your listing presentation, which we can always talk more about. But traditional service, doing it the way that my dad did it, my dad wasn't a realtor, but if he was doing it the way my dad did it, is down by 6.3%. Staging is up by almost 3%. So if you're not offering staging, you're not doing what a large percentage of real estate agents do. Concierge service also up by about 3%. Cash offer up by 21.9%. I'm going to pause for effect here for just a moment to point this out because I think this is very important. As you can probably imagine, I'm running on a new slideshow. So the next slide is as good a guess as mine as it is of yours. There you go. 15.1%. Off-market sales in 2019 were 15.1%. I'm gonna get y'all are trying to get these dirty looks. Get out of the way, Ryan. I'll take a picture of them. Off-market sales were 15.1% pre-pandemic.
Where?
Across America. Across America. I want to go back to what was that? Up 21.9%. So that means 37%. 37% of real estate sold in America today is sold off market. And according to NAR, the vast majority is at 80, it's at something like 83% plus is sold to investors. By investors, that could be major hedge funds, that could be moms and pops, that could be whatever it is, but it's not FSBOs because FSBOs is down to just over 1%. Not seeing a lot of FSBOs. You might see someone list something on Zillow or something like that, but you're not seeing a lot of them. So here's the thing, 37% of real estate is sold off market. First of all, let's clarify. I probably should have clarified in the beginning. What's the difference between off market and on market? MLS. Who uses the MLS? Realtors. So what can we deduce? 37% of realtors, 37% of real estate is being sold without realtors. The room is always quiet when I say this. That means that you are not getting to take advantage of now 37% of real estate, which was 15% pre-pandemic. It has skyrocketed. Why is it skyrocketed? Well, a few reasons. One, drive down the 5 and you see a sign that says "We buy ugly homes," or what is Seller's Advantage, or Open Door. Steve buys houses. Trust Steve. He's a great resource. Who the heck is Steve? But right. And they're going that route. And here's the thing, when they do go that route, if 80% plus of them are not using realtors, then that means they're not getting represented, that there's no one protecting their interests. This is why I think it's the most important detail, is they're not being represented appropriately as we've all been trained to take care of them. And that's the most important detail of what we do, is taking care of our clients. So I'll give you an example. when they go and they see an ad online for Open Door. Open Door is now the nation's largest real estate investment firm. You know why it's the nation's largest? Because, okay, I'm gonna say some dirty words. I'm gonna say EXP, Compass, Redfin. I know you didn't want to hear Redfin said in the office today. I'm so sorry. All of these companies have now accepted Open Door as an in-house service, which is absolutely amazing to me because Open Door is a direct competitor to every single one of them. You know what happens if you go on Open Door right now, you put in your home address, you're already listed with a realtor, you put in your home address, or if your realtor says, hey, we've got an in-house option of Open Door. Open Door says, I'll give you $600,000 for the home. If it's all agreeable, the first thing Open Door will do is they will call the listing agent and they will say, I'm sorry, what's your first name? Tracy. Thank you so much, Tracy. What an amazing option you've given us here at Open Door. We're going to go ahead and take care of the client. Don't RPA, RLA, don't worry about any of that. We'll make sure you get 1%. Have a good day. And she's like, wait, did you say 1%? I listed that property for 6%. I'm gonna get 6%. I'm gonna represent my client. Actually, the contracts that we've taken care of with your client already have already nullified and voided all of your contracts. We're gonna deal with them directly. No. Car forms? No, they're not car forms. They're our forms, and they lock in our client. And by the way, I'm not even gonna ask you to guess. What does Open Door generally charge homeowners to do the deal? I don't wanna say represent them, to do the deal. You ready? Between 8 and 15%. That does not account for any work that needs to be done to the property, which they will bill them for. That does not account for any costs and fees. TC fee, $1,900. If any of you pay your TC $1,900, I will TC a deal for you. Just let me know. That's what happens, and that's why I don't understand why, and I think that it's actually doing them more harm than good. And us here at KW, I think it's actually great that other companies are using Open Door in-house because they're gonna learn. They're already learning. And by the way, We Buy Ugly Homes, largest class action lawsuit in America. Over 80,000 homeowners. And their complaints are things like non-disclosure. And We Buy Ugly Homes sold my house within 24 hours of me selling it to them. They resold it for up to 20% more within 24 hours. What does that mean? That means they knew when they were buying it that they could sell it for a heck of a lot more and they didn't disclose it to the homeowner. Yes, it is absolutely unacceptable. And it's because none of these companies had you there, which is the most important detail to us. You are the most important detail to us, and you're going to learn more and more about why that is. I do not represent your client. You represent your client. You're going to ask me questions like, well, how quick can you guys close? How quick does your client want to close? Our goal has been for almost 3 decades to help you figure out what's best for your client and try and make that happen by using our vast database of needy and wanting people who really want your deal. And if they want it, and it's going to be 10% below market or 8% below market or 6% below market, we're going to work on getting your seller the most that we can possibly get them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play a quick video for you that's gonna help you understand a little bit more. I promise you that I will give you time for Q&A. There's gonna be plenty of time for that. So please write down any notes, write down any questions. I'm gonna show you a quick video. I'm gonna go over some details of that video, and then I'm gonna open it up for some questions. So let's just everybody say a prayer that we have video and audio.
Hey there, real estate superhero. First and foremost, thank you. We appreciate your time and we promise to make this quick. And here's how we're going to get your attention in the first 15 seconds of this video.
Attention elite real estate professionals. The following resource is free for you and your clients. Not only is this free, this will make you more money. In most cases, agents have made as much as 200% more money.
Hold on. You got that, right? If you could make 200% more money on even one transaction this year, and you didn't have to spend a dime more on advertising or marketing or door knocking, would that be of interest to you?
By the end of this video, you will have picked up thousands of new buyers and a bit of new info you may not have already known.
Here's the first thing you need to know. For almost 3 decades, our investment network has helped tens of thousands of realtors win more listings, close more sales, make more money, serve more clients, solve more problems. And together, with the help of great realtors like you, we're changing the scope of what it means to be a great real estate professional with a heart for service, community, and the betterment of our industry. So here we go. We're going to share a ton of great information with you in this video. So please pay attention to these 3 key points that'll help you understand why thousands of realtors utilize our investment network every day. Number 1, commissions. Did I get your attention? The investment network generally does not charge or accept any commission from realtors or sellers. That's right. When you list a house for 6%, you keep the entire 6%. Here's an example. If you list an $850,000 house for 6%, you normally make about $25,000. Now, with the investment network, you'll make over $50,000. That's right. You keep all of the commission and all of the buyer's agent's commission. 100% more profit on every sale with no additional cost or obligation. I think you're starting to figure out why over 80% of the agents who use our service are top producers. Number 2, we do not buy real estate. Unlike independent iBuyers who are competing with you for your business, your investment network does not buy investments. We manage investors, and our job is to get the most from investors for your homeowners. If we bought your property, we need to get the best price, right? Well, by removing our interest in getting the lowest price, we can focus on helping you get your client the most. What's more important than that? Number 3, what does every sale need? Give up qualified buyers, of course. And what if you didn't have to deal with outside agents taking your commission, complicating your sales? As of right now, you have tens of thousands of new buyers. So what are you going to do with them? After almost 3 decades working with investors, we've developed some amazing ways to help you take full advantage of this fantastic resource. The next time you see an ugly house, a seller in a hurry, an iBuyer honing in on your neighborhood, or even just the opportunity to help better educate your client as to what the cash value of their home is, we are here to serve you. It's kind of our thing. So, more money? Check. More opportunity? Check. More happy clients? Check. More resources, more accountability, more sales? Check, check, check. Oh, I almost forgot. If you have qualified investors, or if you're looking to invest, we would love to share our in-house inventory with you. Simply send us an email and let's set up a time to talk and collaborate. We are not your competition. Our obligation is to serve and empower realtors so you can knock the socks off every client. Be sure to write down investmentnetwork.tech and please put us to the test. We look forward to hearing from you.
I'm going to show you one more slide to just make sure that we're on the same page with what I believe is an important detail, because this question comes up all the time. And then we're going to open it up for some questions. So this important detail that I want to be clear on, and I'm sorry that I'm standing in front of it here, but if the list price is $850,000 and you, God willing, you're going to continue to list homes for 6% for the rest of your careers, I truly believe that we are. Let's say you list the property for 6%, you're generally looking at about 3% commission, which is $25,000. You're excited when you list a house for $850,000. You're excited for $25,000. With us, we do not charge the buyer's broker commission. This is not a new thing for us. We never have. So you should be expected to make at least $50,000 on this transaction. Now, let me tell you this. In today's market, about 85% of investors, not our investors, all investors are flipping homes. They are not holding homes. And that is mainly because of the climate of the market. It's mainly for many reasons, like it's very difficult to get a house to cash flow in our neighborhood here. It's very difficult based on the fact that we're in an election year. Interest rates are high, all those good things, the reasons why most investment properties are flipped. And if that property is flipped, let's say they buy it for $850,000, they put $250,000 into it, they put it back on the market for $1.2 million. Guess what? I don't have any real estate signs, but you do. So we'd love to get you back involved in the resale. About half the time, we are able to get the originating agent who brought us the deal back involved in the resale to help us resell that property. I say about 50% of the time, but that's a huge variable depending on area and details. It's something that we will discuss with you up front. It won't be a guess. It won't be oh, I hope I get to. We'll definitely discuss that. So that means an additional 3%, which potentially could be $36,000. And let's say you decide to do an open house there and a buyer comes in and you bring in the buyer's commission, you're looking at an additional $72,000, which is a total of $122,000. That scenario, that 4-side scenario, it's happened for us about 10% of the time. 3-side scenarios happen about 70% of the time. 2 sides, 100% of the time. This means that you should expect to make at least twice as much money on every transaction with us, and potentially a $25,000 commission could get you $122,000. So let's see, what is the next slide? Oh, interesting. Okay, so I'm going to open up for a few questions. I wanted to say this. I was lucky enough to be introduced to Christina a few weeks ago by Joey. She had a transaction. And I'd love for Christina to just give a little bit of, we haven't gone fully through it yet, but just to give a little bit of feedback on exactly how it's gone with us so far.
Yeah, so I was able to do the actual site and test it out, and it's great. I appreciate you using it, obviously. We have a transaction right now currently that we're entertaining an offer at, so we'll see how that all pans out. But my experience has been great, actually. It's a great outlet. It's protected because I do work with a lot of flippers, investors, and I work with a lot of wholesalers. The problem that I've been running into with my wholesalers is I'll get a call, or my sellers will get a call saying, I heard your property is listed for X amount, which is maybe, I would say maybe a 7% increase of what the original list price is. And so they'll have that so that they can get, that's how they're gonna make their money. And so it's not very positive in the way that it works. And I've actually been able to eliminate that and making sure that the investors that are actually looking at are vetted through Ryan's company. And so the offers are definitely more reliable and more legitimate than what I've been dealing with from the off-market investor wholesaler portal. So it's not just for Stephen Hayes, but I've seen a lot of new agents that come across an opportunity, but the seller will say, well, I don't really want to list on MLS. If you can find me a buyer, then you can, I'll give you the listing. That's the opportunity to find, and you can secure your listing and secure the buyer side as well with the offer, and a legitimate offer that you feel confident to present. So again, I've had nothing but great experience. Ryan's been incredibly helpful, and he is very, very hardworking on your behalf. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that. That was awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I just love it. Like, if you like, I was talking earlier about like, if you ever speak in front of people, it's great to get smiles. And it's tough when everybody's kind of scowling at me. Thank you again, Christina. She had to run off to an appointment. What's that? Yes, yes. Yeah, I'll say this. I earned my reputation in the business for being one of those agents that will absolutely grind it out. I was so frustrated early on when I'd get a deal and I knew it was a great deal and I knew it was a great opportunity. And like my first 6 investors would say no to it. And I'd be like, this is a great deal. And I would call every single person I know. I would scour the internet and talk to every agent in the office and do everything I could. I would grind it until I got that done. And if you're not doing that as an agent, sometimes you're missing opportunities. Like pick up every single rock. Look under every single opportunity to find that buyer, especially when you believe in it. If it's a beautiful house and you know there's going to be a buyer, you're going to do everything that you can. Get online, start talking to people, do everything that you can. The reason why I'm telling you this is because with me, you get that. Like if you already do that, there's another one of you in the transaction that's willing to do that. Let's figure out what's going to make the seller happy. Let's figure out what's going to make the buyer happy. And then let us get to work to grind it. The opportunity that Christina brought to us was something that we've talked to hundreds, thousands of our investors about, and we're going to find her a buyer no matter what. It's our absolute goal to make her client happy and figure out the situation. And she will tell you that I will call her at any hour. I will do anything that it takes to help her solve that problem. Because I want to be able to stand here on a Wednesday afternoon and look, Christina got 9% on a transaction. All she had to do was upload the property information to our KW website, and she was able to procure a buyer and relist the property and this and that. And That happens to us every day. I'll get to you in just one sec. I was actually last week, I was at North Tustin office, and the team lead there is Mark Burkhart. Mark Burkhart, invites me up, every other meeting. I come into the meeting and he invites me up and he goes, Ryan, come on up and just talk about what you do for a second. He said, actually, hold on a second, Ryan. He said, just so you know, this agent right here just made 9% on a transaction, and this agent 6%. And 5% and 11%. And by the way, if you don't know Ryan's business and you're not taking advantage of this opportunity, you need to go to his next training. You need to learn more about it, which by the way, every Monday at 10 a.m. on Zoom, there is a training. It's the only training that I'm on personally, and I'm there every Monday morning at 10 a.m. You're welcome to log in. It's exclusive to KW agents, and I'm there every Monday morning. It will be on your calendar shortly. So that's more info. You had a question or comment?
You, is it single family residential only, or do you also, townhome? And we have in June that this might be perfect.
Yep. So I love it.
Stand it first.
I love it. Well, remind me that in our flyer, there is a detail about a $10,000 bonus. So please do not let me leave without explaining that in greater detail to you all. But you just both made me think of that. So I started out in residential real estate like most of you. That's where I focus most of my networking. So the vast majority of our site and our network is focused on residential real estate. That is 1 to 4 units, complete in all types of 1 to 4 units. There is no minimum price, although we do not want to deal with mobile homes. You all know why, but we will. And there is no maximum price, but also recognize the more expensive it is, the smaller that buyer's pool gets, right? And they also expect a lot more return on investment when we get to that higher number. So if you call us and say, I've got a $13 million property and my client wants like 12.9, do you know anybody who'll buy it? We'll probably say no, because that may not even cover the cost to buy that property. But yes, we do also handle commercial. We handle everything real estate, but we specialize in residential, and condos are fine. Condos are great, especially if you've got a great opportunity in something that you think that this would best serve your client.
What about the market, residential?
Love it. Yep. The question was residential, undeveloped land, half developed, whatever it is. We want to see it and we want to try and help you with it. Obviously, the more difficult the situation, the more difficult it is for anyone to sell. So just be understanding of that. But we definitely want to help you better understand how to do this. So first thing I want to say is this is our website, investmentnetwork.tech. But for KW agents, I want you to put a KW before Investment Network. So it's kwinvestmentnetwork.tech is the website that we're going to ask you to go to. On that website, you can learn a lot more about us. There's lots of great frequently asked questions. There's testimonials. There's another video like the one I just showed you, but it breaks it down a lot more, shows you kind of the process of how to go through it. But also on that website towards the top, you can click on Get a Cash Evaluation. And that's where you can log in and put your property information. What's going to happen is this. When you share the property information with us, we're going to give you an assessment of value. We're not going to give you an offer. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to assess the value of the property with the help that you provide. What I mean by that is if you send us 123 Main Street, Ryan, what do you think of this? We're basically going to give you a Zestimate because we know nothing about the property. Here's a major difference between the investment network and Zillow and Open Door and all these other companies that are just going to spit out a number. Which, by the way, I can explain in great depth how a Zestimate is made. And we all know that it has very little value or truth in the true value of the property. It's mainly because Zestimates are based on averages, not based on actual property or actual condition. So in order for us to not give you a Zestimate, you've got to give us information. We want to know about the condition of the property. We want to know about the seller's motivation. We want to know about details. We want to know about the neighborhood. Look, I work in San Diego and I work in Miami and I work almost everywhere in between. I cannot know your neighborhoods the way you do. You are our expert. You feed us the information. It's like this. For example, I'm so sorry I forgot your Tracy. Tracy, you have a team?
No, I'm just focused on.
Okay, now you have a team. You have me. Right? So let's say hypothetically speaking, Tracy's got Ryan on the team and Ryan specializes in investments and Tracy goes and lists a property and it's a great deal for investors. First thing Tracy's gonna do when she gets back to the office, she's gonna be like, Ryan, look what I did. I got this fantastic deal. It's so good. My clients really need to sell the property. It's worth all day, I pulled the comps, it's worth $1 million. But based on the fact that it needs a new roof and it needs a new kitchen, it needs all these things, I'm pretty sure that my client would accept an offer at like 825, something like that. I think it's interesting. Ryan, tell me what you think of it. I'm gonna say, well, what can you, do you have any pictures? Oh yeah, I took a bunch of pictures when I was at the property. Here they are. Here's all the great information I can share with you. Is there anything else more I can tell you, Ryan, to help you? Because I know you've got great investors and I know you can help. And that's kind of what we do, me and you, Tracy. We're going to help close this deal and keep it in-house between us so that you can make the money because you're the team lead. I'm sure I'll make a little piece of it. Don't worry about that. But you're going to give me all the, this is the neuro gum, by the way. You're going to give me all the information that you have. Telling you it's good. I promise you, it's just vitamins. You're going to give me all the information that you can, because the more you share with me, the more accurate my number is going to be. And I start clicking and I go, I know there's one investor that this would be, and then there's that other one, and then there's that one, and there's that one. And then so with your okay, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to go 850. Yeah, that was really smart based on this information. I'm going to break that down based on the pictures. And I'm going to say, well, renovation costs, let's say $50,000. And then, costs to, buy and sell the property, taxes, insurance, all that good stuff, probably about this much. And then investor return, let's not forget that. Investors expect to make something. We're going to punch in that number. I'm going to give you all that information. I'm going to send that back to you. My team is going to send that back to you so you can share that information with your client. You can help educate them. Here's why I concur. I agree with you. 850 is the number. And if your client's okay with that and you're okay with that, then and only then will we take that information. And well, actually, first we'll send you an authorization form authorizing us to share this information with investors. Because before that moment, this information is proprietary. It's KW's information, it's Tracy's information, and I cannot legally share it with anyone without Tracy's authorization. And once I receive that with her and her clients, okay, then we can send it out to investors and we can go and try and get Tracy 1,000 offers. What we're actually probably going to get is we're going to get a bunch of LOIs. If you don't know what LOIs are, that's a letter of intent. We're in investments. We work a lot like commercial. We're going to get you letter of intent, which is going to break down. Investor will pay this based on these terms and this information, based on the information that we provided. Hey, if your client wants to close in 15 days and get an additional 60 days after the close of escrow to get their junk out or to leave all their junk behind, we're going to tell that to investors. We're going to say, this needs to close in 15 days. Seller will require an additional 60 days. Rent-free, whatever it is, you dictate, not the buyer. You dictate what your client wants in your client's best interest. I had one yesterday. I told you I was in Santa Barbara. I said this, I was interrupted by an agent who said, yeah, but how fast can you close? Like, how quick do you want to close? And I said, you're looking at this from the wrong perspective. Convenience versus price, truly serving our clients. What if you can say to your client, how fast do you want to close? What if you can say to a seller, how much time do you truly need? Well, I've got you, I could be out of here in 15 days. That's not what I asked you. How much time do you truly need? Well, we'd love 30 days. We'd love 60 days, whatever it is. Relay that information to us. Let us try and get the seller what the seller wants. At the end of the day, we want you to have the most amazing review from your client so you can land 7 more listings in the neighborhood. That's the ultimate goal. I love to say this to team leads and office owners. The way we gauge the success of our business, our annual numbers are not based on how much money we made. They're not based on how much money you made. They're based 100% on how many listings did we help realtors in this office land. And last year, KW Yorba Linda, we helped them land a little over 700 listings. Pause for effect. And it's simply because they shared addresses with us. And when they walked into the listing appointment, in their briefcase or backpack or whatever, they had a whole breakdown from us. They brought it to the table with, I like to do this. Here in my little case here, I have 3 different hard drives, and this is downloaded on my computer. I have multiple different options of how I have this saved in case one doesn't work, in case somebody's like, hey, in case Samantha's like, hey Ryan, can I download that so that I can send it out to the group? I have multiple options. I'm not going to need any of these. Why am I bringing them? Why am I even trying? Why am I spending my time downloading it onto multiple things when I don't even need it? My client's house is gorgeous. They're not going to want this kind of offer. Ryan, why should I do it? Because you never know. Because guess what? Here's where we need to start thinking a little bit differently. You're thinking right now, well, what's this distressed house? on La Cienega that I saw last week, and then maybe maybe I'll go, no. 37% of real estate has sold off market. What does that tell you? You think 37% is distressed and falling down? No, homeowners are willing to consider less. They're willing to consider quicker, faster, more convenient options. Do not do it if it's not in their best interest. Please offer it as much as you can, because right now they're sitting in or actually, I love this story, this example this agent told me about, like this kind of this mind change, starting to see some light bulbs overheads. This mind change. She was in church one day and she kept seeing this friend that lived down the street from her, and the friend just kind of kept avoiding her. And I guess she's probably like talking about real estate maybe a little bit too much. When I came up in the business, we called it commission breath. You have commission on your breath. And they can smell it, and they're like, just, I don't want to talk to Tracy because she's always talking about real estate. I'm not really interested. Why aren't I interested? Tracy's an amazing person. She's beautiful and lovely and nice. But here's the thing, like, I don't want a sign on my lawn. I don't want people going and knocking on my door at 9 o'clock at night. I don't want an open house. I don't want a broken TV. You're all lovely, but I don't want you in my kitchen. So I'm just not going to sell my house, maybe next year, maybe the year after that, maybe whatever. That's the only option. I know what realtors do. They're good people, but they want to close the deal and they want to get a bunch of people. Like, that's their perspective of us. I've been doing this for many, many years. And I used to talk pre-pandemic about the fact that, like, the most hated industry in America is dentistry. The second most hated is real estate. Why? Because they look at us one way. They look at us one way because we don't give them other options, other suggestions, other direction, other ways to make it more convenient. They're changing. Are we changing? Like the flyer that I gave you said, the industry is changing. Are you looking at it from a different perspective? I'm gonna play this quick video for you, but I'm gonna say one thing, which I usually say a little later in my presentation, and that's this. I came to this point in my, and this is a humble brag, right? I came to this point in my career where I realized that I had 100,000 investors. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I put my feet up on the desk and I was like, what am I going to do with that? Right? Like, that is a huge asset. That is a huge opportunity. I have 100,000 investors in almost every state. They're all hungry. They all want to buy. They're all vetted. We know them, all of them. What am I going to do with them? I'm asking you to do the same thing. Because guess what? For free, I gift you 100,000 investors right here, right now. And I'm asking you to think about how you can use this to improve your business, how you can use this to grow your business, how you can use this the same way I did. So what did I do? I started thinking, well, how can I use them? How can I use them to help the people I care about, which is sellers? Sellers who are the innocent party. We are all very well educated. Investors are generally more educated than the average, but the most innocent party in it is the seller. How can I use this? So I started thinking about empowering realtors. I started thinking about the army of 13,000 realtors I now have that are empowered with this tool, how to use it to grow your business. Your hand on up first and then yours.
So I have two questions. One, basically, to understand or to sum this up, from my understanding. So you're saying we bring you sellers that are willing to take an under market value price because of convenience. And you have a market of 100,000 investors that are those buyers.
The video I'm going to show you is going to explain that a little bit better, but I'm going to answer the question by saying this. I'm suggesting that you upload every address that you get that is a warm lead, because you never know. I am not suggesting that you offer our services to every seller who's looking for top dollar. I've said this to many realtors. Many realtors have been like, well, like, what's the most important thing to sellers? To get them the top dollar. That's my job. My job is to get them the top dollar. Do you think that they all would answer it the same way? You think some of them would be like, convenience is important. We're getting it smooth, easy, simple, without driving my kids crazy or whatever transaction. So I'm saying yes to answer your question. 99% of what you just said, yes, absolutely. But not just because they would consider less, because your perspective of what sellers would consider less, in my opinion, I don't know you, but I would assume it's generally, from my experience, a little bit askew. Because when almost every realtor says to me, every seller wants the most, every realtor that says that is wrong, because 37% of real estate is being sold off market. And it's estimated that in America, like less than 10% of homes are distressed in the sense that they're not financeable. So that means that there's tons of sellers who have great houses. We just did one for 2% in Highland Park last month, 2% return. You know why the investor would accept a 2% return? Because thank you, LA County, we can add ADUs to properties now. And they saw it and went, well, I can add a lot of value to this house. But it was on the corner lot, it had side access, it was twice the size lot as everything else. You started looking at things from a little different perspective. You had a second question, did I answer it? Yes, somebody had to ask it sooner or later. Good on you. So we charge our buyers for a right to be a part of the network. We charge our investors, but we also charge a buyer broker fee through escrow on every transaction that we do. So we will charge our clients. Remember, I didn't clarify this, but no, I clarified this. Maybe you didn't get it because it happens all the time. We represent our client. You represent your client. In representing our client, we charge them a buyer broker fee. It's going to be anywhere from about 0.5 point to about 1.5 points. It's done through escrow. It's fully disclosed. By the way, our transactions, exactly the way you expected. CAR forms, everything is above board. Everything is disclosed. Everything must be done right. I cannot be endorsed by KW if I'm not doing things above board. Right? That answer your question? You do not need an appraisal. Yeah, it's like, I mean, you could talk to somebody today who says, I'm interested in selling my home. You can upload the property information with that little information. The less information you have, the less accurate our assessment's going to be. You're going to get a range from us. That's up to you. A lot of times we're going to help you get that listing. And let me explain to you how. What I just said is a lot of times we're going to help you get that listing. And I understand if you've got to go, it's totally cool. Yes. Yes, I will hand out my cards in the end, but for anybody who needs to leave now, I will say, what was I saying? I understand. Look, I saw the look on your face and I get it. I've been a realtor for 28 years and the very last thing I want to do is give anybody an address of a property that I haven't listed yet. I get it. I know what you're thinking. I told you I've done this 700 times. I get it. And I've been doing this for 30 years and I am a realtor and I know the most valuable thing I have is my client database and my listings and my opportunities. It's the reason why I'm not sending you to investmentnetwork.tech, which is my parent company. I'm sending you to a KW website, which is actually licensed and legally protected by your company and only seen by KW. The only two people who are going to see this address are you and our in-house appraiser. If you do not want to share it with us, don't. I understand. But I'm going to give you a few examples of agents who have and have grown their business and landed listings. I'll say this, when I talked about bringing your briefcase with information about what the property value is when you go into the listing presentation, I will say this without hesitation, 100% of the time when agents have brought one of our assessments to their listing presentation, they have landed the listing because you are bringing something no one else is. If they're meeting 3 other realtors that day and Sally, Bob, and Tim all said, I'll list your house for $1 million. I'll list your house for $1 million. I'll list your house for $1 million. And you, your first name is Amy, says, I've already got you an offer for $950. I'm not expecting that you take $950 because I want to sell your house for $1 million. But I want you to know that I'm a part of the largest real estate investment network in the US. And I've already worked my tail off. All you did was upload the property info. I've already worked my tail off to show this to my network and get you an assessment that can guarantee you an offer in this range. You're doing something that no one else can do. So I'm going to show you a quick video from, like I said earlier, a top producer in North OC that focuses specifically on luxury real estate. This actually, it's a little bit informal. It's from a podcast that we did, but I think it's valuable, so I like to show it.
So to me, if you guys are not utilizing and adding our network, I say ours because I feel like you said I'm a part of the family, but if you're not utilizing that in your every day presentation, if you don't have them in your actual listing presentation, I feel like you're doing yourself a massive disservice. The truth of the matter is when you show up to a listing appointment, you're not just there for that listing appointment, right? Like you want to move forward and get other deals from this one deal. So to me, having you guys in there, even if it's not right for that specific client, having you guys in there, and then after we sell the property, they're like, oh, hey, my brother, got this property and there's a massive hole in the roof and he doesn't want to do anything. Do you have any buyers? He's kind of embarrassed to put on the market. That sort of thing is a great way moving forward. So to me, and you guys know we had a deal together not too long ago in North Orange County where, I had an elderly person who really didn't want to do anything to the property. She had cats. It was just an older property. I remember standing in the bathroom and just looking at everything. And I looked up and there was a hole in the ceiling. And I thought, oh my gosh, okay, this was only going to go to one specific buyer. So when you're going through an investment property or something that's going to be coming in, for your guys' network, you know that you're only looking at a certain type of buyer anyways. So your buyer pool, you feel in the moment goes from this to this, when in actuality, it's going from this to this, because you guys have so many people that you guys network and bring in. And just to give an example of how we've done things, I love showing up and telling my people, hey, don't worry about this, because they're very self-conscious. They see the homes that my team lists on the daily. So they see us listing these big, beautiful, perfectly placed homes. That's because we put the work in at the forefront, right? So they don't see it until it's live and active and on the market. So when I walk into their home, they're already beat down about their property. So coming in and almost kind of being like the, if you will, is nice, because people are like, you have people who want my house and you have more than one. And then, you show up and you're like, here's the, 2, 3, 45 offers that I have from these investors. Which one fits our situation and our criteria the best? And then it's in and it's out. So for me, it's really great, especially to those buyers who are down on themselves, who might not be in the best financial situation, or they have a big home that they've let go because it's just become too much for them to handle, whether it's because the loss of a spouse, getting older, or, just not being around. That's my personal experience.
It's so awesome. I just wanted to ask one more question, and that was, you started just sending us addresses. I know you go on a listing appointment and we're like, oh, there's another one from Lauren. There's another one from Lauren. And I'm wondering what's the value that you see? Why do you just randomly send us addresses?
I even will send you guys addresses before I even have the listing. Because I like to utilize, sorry guys, I like to use you. So if I come in and I say, hey, listen, if you want to go with this offer, this is what I can do for you. We can close in 7 days, 10 days, whatever it is. We have to disclose everything. This is how it's going to work. If you want this price, then it's going to take us a week. We need to get pictures up and running. I need to move things around. We need to bring in a stager. So to me, time is money, right? So if I can save my clients 2 weeks of prepping their property and come in with you guys kind of as the saving grace, sometimes it's really worth it for them. I have a client, for example, who's in pre-foreclosure. I mean, the minute we get that notice of default, our time starts right then and there. So to me, it's like, well, if I can kind of bring this in for you, and that we're going to close escrow in 7 to 10 days, you're going to have that cash in your pocket. We don't need to worry about this deal date. I mean, and even now we are seeing pre-foreclosures and stuff like that. If you're in a situation that's maybe not the best, you're going through a pre-foreclosure, hey, we're going to get through this together. Don't worry about it. If you were great and you've got all this equity and you're moving, up north, down south, out of the state, whatever, hey, we're excited for you. Let's get on to the next, leg of your journey in life.
And great example that she gave, we show up at office meetings, whether it's on Zoom or in person, and we're constantly talking about, and I say this, and I don't know if people believe me, but it's true. I say, top producers send us addresses before they even go on the listing appointments to help them land listings and show their clients that they have amazing resources. Top producers like this one in front of you right now just throws us addresses all the time, and it's our job to help her with that situation. And we love doing it, and it adds value to her business. And she is absolutely crushing it. If I didn't clarify, Lauren is a partner in this business. She's a partner in an office, and it's largely because she's amazing, but partially because she's a fantastically well-producing realtor using those resources to the best of her ability. And that's a fantastic example of that.
I feel like I say fantastic a lot. But that did answer some of these questions that I think are really important. So I do have a few more slides. I know we're running late. You're welcome to take off if you need to. If you have any questions, I'm here. So yes.
It has to be not even like information given out to us. It really sounds like which I've already done. If you log on to the website and start sending you stuff, you're saying it's just part of our presentation.
Yep.
Conversation we have.
Yep.
Secondly, we're your boy here, so I'm in Orange County all the time.
Nice.
And I have a number of people one question.
Yeah.
My team's in our channel. And
Yeah.
you're part of my team, right?
I am a part of your team. I'm a part of all your teams. And I'm here for you for whatever you need. I am now a part of the team. We are in multiple KW offices. You will see me around on occasion. I will be offering trainings and more information about how to use this. The one thing I'll say about Lauren was, that video was a couple of years ago, and you could see kind of the way her wheels were spinning. She's thinking about, in my opinion, she's thinking about things from an older perspective. And she's like, well, I've got this NOD coming up. And I'm like, that's great. Send that, but also recognize that it's something you need to be talking to sellers about evolving and changing. I don't know, how many of you ever read the book, Who Moved My Cheese? Great book. It's like a 45-minute read. I definitely suggest it. It's Who Moved My Cheese. It's about an industry and business changes. And if we don't change along with it, we stand back here and go, why isn't things happening? Why isn't my business changing? The business is changing tremendously in the direction of options and giving sellers more control. I'm empowering you to empower your client to take more control. The seller has more control than they ever have. Are you giving it to them? Empowering them to go, wow, it was so awesome. I never expected it could be that way. You can do that, not just with me, but with a lot of those other tools that I suggested. I want to see you land more listings and do more business. Any way I can help, please let me know. The question was, will we do a consult? Absolutely. I rarely talk directly to sellers, but if you want me to, if you want me involved, I am happy to help you with that. Yeah, definitely talk more about that. But the only other slides that I really have on here talks about the fact that all of our deals are pre-MLS. So please don't send us something that's already on the MLS. They're off market only and only warm leads. Don't pull the NOD list and send me a whole list. They actually need to be warm leads of people that you've talked to that are actually interested in selling. And if you just want to talk and better understand this, hop in on Monday morning at 10 a.m. to our Zoom meeting. It's specifically, that meeting is just conversational. I'm there to answer questions and help agents. They're like, I want to farm in this area. How can I use? Let's talk. I'm here for you as a resource to help you grow your business. And there is no cost to you. Joey's taking care of all of that for you. I'm here for you. Let me show you how I can help.
How do we get access to this?
So it will, I'm going to give it to Samantha today. So it will be on your calendar. It's coming up. Bear with us the next couple of days. We're integrating Larchmont into our systems. So if you've got any issues with the website or anything, call us. Our team's number is on those cards that I gave out, or I'm happy to give one of my business cards. I will see. You had another question? Actually, it's on YouTube. If you search for investmentnetwork.tech on YouTube, there's a few testimonial videos on there. Then you'll see it. There's not a lot of videos, so it won't be hard to find. But investmentnetwork.tech on YouTube. We're also on Facebook. If you want free marketing material, you can message us. We'll send you free marketing material, but you can steal great things off of our Facebook account too. Great, like little memes about, hey, are you interested in selling your house for cash? Give me a call. Or if you know anyone, all that kind of stuff, we can help you. Just let us know. Great. Yep. So the training that we do is on Mondays at 10 a.m. But I will be here at office meetings every once in a while, and I will be offering more in-house trainings on how to use systems, how to use our systems, how to understand this perspective of the market, how to think like an investor, stuff like that. So just look for trainings from the Investment Network, from me or someone on my team. It'll probably be me because I'm local. Cool. Thank you all so much. I'm here if you've got more questions. Thank you. Thank you, Zoom land.
Thank you.